Hello, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I am not doing too bad. I do currently feel a bit sick, a bit nauseous, but I think that's just from the amount of stress I'm under. And I may have eaten some bad food. It could be both. But either way, I am nervous because I currently am about to begin my next class for my Japanese course, and this is going to be my first main exam assessment that I'm being assessed on. Like, I've been doing the homework and doing my best to study. Haven't done too well this past week. But yeah, we have an assessment exam this session. We do classes 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. and I have class Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I've got my exam here so I can actually show, and I am doing my best to learn this. So we have, because I'm currently doing a Certificate 2 in Applied Japanese. This class focuses more on, the Thursday class focuses more on speaking, to where Tuesday is more reading and writing comprehension, to where Thursday's class is more oral speaking. So we have conduct basic oral communication for social purposes in a language other than English, and I'm obviously doing Japanese. So the way I'm taking this is it's a role play, so I'm technically acting, so that's what I do, and I've always wanted to act in Japanese movies and have a Japanese role, even though I'm not Japanese. But, you can get characters that can speak multiple languages, and the more languages I learn and can speak properly and fluently, then the more access I'll have for my acting, music, voiceovers, the whole bunch, but also just for my own personal knowledge and skills. So, this is what we'll be doing today. Identify commonly used verbal communication styles and phrases used in social context of the target language. 2. Communicate basic information verbally in social context. And 3rd, give and follow simple directions and instructions in predictable contexts. So we have the role plays, introduce oneself and others in a social situation in a culturally, there we go, appropriate way. So yeah, we do this. So I spent a couple hours studying this morning, trying to get everything done, completely forgetting that right here, it's not asking for me to do my information. I will be given a role card and I will be that person. So technically I will be receiving a script, in other words. So all the study I pretty much did this morning, out the window. Not needed. So I'm really flying by the seat of my pants and just gonna have to wing this. But there's some positive news and I'll get to that shortly. So we'll be working as a pair. We will be given role cards. We have 15 minutes preparation time for role play according to your role cards. You must follow instructions on your role cards. Your role play will be recorded. 2. Choose appropriate resources to help you prepare. Example, textbooks, handouts, smartphone, internet. 3rd, only Japanese is spoken. 4. The procedure. Step 1. Okay, So a lot of this is still new because I've not been able to focus. So step 1, you attend a company party. At the party, you introduce yourself to your partner. Step 2, introduce your partner to your lecturer. Step 3, introduce your lecturer to your partner. Fuck. Marking guide. So, the participants will be assessed on the following. 1, if they can greet one another appropriately. 2, if they can ask for personal information, such as name, occupation, where they live, phone number, age, nationality, family, and here it says ask at least to one further piece of information of your choice. So for my original question that I created here, which I may have to change for purposes for my partner to understand and be able to respond, the question I actually chose and made up was, what is your dream? So I may have to change that, but we'll come back to that shortly. I don't know why it has 4 and then 5 when this is technically 3 and 4. I don't know, but either way, I'm just going to go by what this says. So 4, if they can introduce an acquaintance to others. 5, if they can perform departure phrases appropriately. And then at the bottom here, which you can't exactly see, it says exchange phrases. I may have to is it the Mac OS screen capture? Okay. Yeah, exchange roles. Okay. And let me just put that back. Still having to learn how this window feature works for OBS. Okay, so I've been trying to study this and do some other stuff today, trying to keep my stress levels low and move through the nausea. But either way, so silly me, and I sent an email through to my lecturer, and she's responded back to me and has been incredibly helpful. So I'll be taking her advice on board, because I'd be a baka not to. A baka in Japanese is idiot, which a lot of people generally know because of anime, and I personally love the word baka. Either way, so I had sent an email just asking if I was relatively on the right track. I'm just having to sit up a little bit because my posture. That's my natural posture. This is my natural posture due to my enteroccular spondylitis, which is a curvature in the spine. Very painful, but I'm doing my best. So I had sent her an email and was just asking her if I'm somewhat on the right track, because the main thing I'm struggling with in Japanese is the structure. It's getting the structure correct, which is my biggest hurdle. Obviously, I need to do more study into hiragana, katakana, and kanji, but I have my strong suits and I've got my weak suits. You know, my strong suits, in my personal opinion, is the time and ordering. Like, they would be my top 2 most confident and everything in Japanese. But I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and it'll take trial and error and experience. Okay, so to begin with this, right, for introduction and everything, I messed up during... Sorry, my alarm's gone off. Where is my phone? Oh, it's right there. It's currently 4 o'clock. I'll begin in an hour, and I will technically be in class in half hour. Fuck, I'm nervous. So, when I was reaching out to one of my friends who was also doing this course, I was asking for some help. They're busy, but they still took a little bit of time and everything to help me out, which I really appreciate. And she's like, they informed me that we'll be given roll cards, and I was just like, oh, fuck, that's right. So the stuff I've done, it's not going to help. She's like, yeah, so how to like properly introduce yourself. So when I said it to my friend, I believe I did it correctly, to where in the email that I sent through to my lecturer, I wasn't on the right track. I was wrong. But when I said it to my friend, I was correct. So, not looking too good for me. So, in the email and everything, I put introducing myself. Man, I need glasses. Okay, here it was. I put Watashi no name ha Zachary desu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Saying like, hello, my name is Zachary. It's nice to meet you. But the proper way that I would be doing this, I believe, which my sensei also helped with, is okay. Hajimemashite, watashi wa Zachary desu. Dozo yoroshiku onegai shimasu. That's the proper way I introduce myself, and that's actually what I sent through to my friend. I didn't have the onegai shimasu because that's more polite, formal, I think. But I did say like hajimemashite, watashi wa Zachary desu, dozo yoroshiku. And I love the word dozo yoroshiku. So even though I made a little mistake there, I am still somewhat able to provide the correct information as long as I don't make that mistake. But it's something I know I can do. Then for the second segment, where you're meant to be able to ask the other person these questions for their name, occupation, where they live, phone number, age, nationality, family, and your own question, yada yada. So I put, okay, so to ask for the name, I was like, so what I'm asking in English version is like, what is your name? And I made a lot of similar mistakes in this segment, which my sensei was able to help correct me and put me in the right direction, which I'm very thankful for. So I put, for what is your name, I put Anata no name wa nan desu ka? But my sensei was able to help me, and the correct way to ask what is your name is Oname wa nan desu ka? So I don't need the anata ne. Then for occupation, so me asking, what is your occupation? I yet again put anata no shokugyo wa nan desu ka? And yet again, don't need the anata no and the shokugyo. So the correct way to ask, what is your occupation? Or at least maybe this is just to help us where we're at, because we are learning and we're beginning before getting into all the technical stuff. But either way, I'm just going by this. So all I had to do to ask what is your occupation correctly is oshigoto wa nan desu ka? Nice, short, simple, sweet, to the point. I believe I actually answered this one correctly. There was no changes to this, so I think I was spot on with this, which I'm really proud about. So, asking, where do you live? I put, doko ni sunde imasu ka? There was no changes to that, so I think I was correct, which is really nice, you know. Then, for phone number, where I'm asking, what is your phone number? I yet again put Anata no tenwa bango wa nanban desu ka? But the correct way and everything to ask is Anata no denwa bango wa nanban desu ka? I believe. Is that the same? Anata no tenwa bango wa nanban desu ka? Was I correct with that? Or did I just not need the tenwa? Okay, I see what happened there. I know it's denwa, but when I was writing out the email, I put a T instead of a D and everything. So denwa, I believe, is like telephone, and that's the change that my sensei corrected and everything, which was an honest mistake because I am aware that mobile or phone is denwa. But silly me put tenwa. Simple misunderstanding there. Okay, so other than that, I think everything was pretty much correct for that one. And then for the age, what is your age? I put Anata no nenrei wa. I believe I was very wrong with this one, I believe. Yeah, what is your age? So the correct way, and she's given me two ways to be able to ask this question correctly, is, so forget about what I said, which is the Anata no nenrei wa. Forget about that. I was wrong. Straight out. So the correct way to ask is you can either say Nansai desu ka? Or you can say Oikutsu desu ka? Two ways of asking what is your age. Then asking what is your nationality. I put Anata no kokuseki wa nan desu ka? And I believe I made a mistake on this one as well. Very similar. Yeah, so forget about what I did on that one. That's not the way to ask. The correct way to ask is Okuni wa doko desu ka? So much shorter than what I had actually put. So it should hopefully be easier to remember. Then we move on to family, and I wasn't too sure about how to ask this question, so the way I went about it was I asked, how big is your family? And so I put Anata no kazoku wa dore kurai desu ka? And I was close. So I don't need the Anata no, but kazoku wa was correct. Get rid of the dore kurai and instead say nanin desu ka? So for people in Japanese, and the way to count people is nin, if memory is serving me correctly. Nan is what? Like nani? You know, like what? You would have heard that phrase in many movies, animes. You'd be aware that when they say nani, it's just like, what? So to ask like how big is your family is kazoku wa nanin desu ka? Very simple. And then with my own question that I did, the way I put it was actually correct, and as my sensei said here, so my own question was to ask my partner, what is your dream? And so I put Anata no yume wa nan desu ka? And my sensei has stated here that it is okay, but please tell your partner what yume means in English, like yume wa eigo de dream desu, like meaning like it means dream, because I could still say like a couple of other words and my partner or other students may not be aware what it actually means, because it could be something that I just know of, and they can easily turn around and say something as well, and I'll be like, I have no idea what that means. My apologies. Can you please explain, if that's okay? So, and then she also said, also, it will be difficult for your partner to answer the question in Japanese, especially because we are actually learning, so we wouldn't have the vast enough amount of knowledge in the language to be able to properly say what our dream is. And then she asked me and everything if I would like to ask my partner some questions that we have learned in the course, which clearly does make sense. So I gotta stop trying to be like, okay, I want to try to push my boundaries and do something impressive, and then totally forget that by me doing stuff like this, because I really want to learn the language, become efficient, and know the ins and outs, that by me doing certain risks, like I may be perfectly fine with taking risks and jumping in the deep end, but my colleagues, like my other students and friends, may not feel the same way. So I do have to realize that I may have to reel my actions in a little bit for the sake of others. And then moving on to the third piece, which is down here, if they can introduce an acquaintance to others. I did two options here. So the first one was me trying to introduce my mother and my younger brother. So I was like, this is my mother and younger brother, and I put Kochira wa watashi no haha to ototo desu. And for friend and everything, like I gave another example, and instead of introducing a family member, I introduced as if it's a friend of mine. And so I was like, where'd the rest of it go? I don't know. Either way, I was basically saying like, this is my friend Kairi. And yes, Kairi is from Kingdom Hearts. Okay. So I put, Kore wa watashi no tomodachi no Kairi desu. And I was really close on this one. So my sensei got back to me, and I actually got the beginning mixed up. So for family, when I was introducing my family, I said Kochira wa, and that's more of a polite term and everything, but you don't use that when you're introducing your own family members. You use that when you're introducing a friend or a colleague or something. It's more polite, but you don't use that when introducing your family. So I actually got this mixed up. So the correct way and everything of saying this is my mother and younger brother is just Kore wa watashi no haha to ototo desu. And then for saying this is my friend Kyrie, you get rid of korewa and everything, because you use korewa for introducing your family, but you use kochira wa for your friends, and so on. So it's kochira wa watashi no tomodachi no kairi desu. So, and this is where my sensei pointed this out to me. It's like, kochira is more polite than kora. Kore. Sorry, it's an E, not an A. So we don't use kochira for introducing our own family members to others. And then, for the last one, if they can perform departure phrases correctly, appropriately, I had sent this through to my sensei in the email, because there is a lot of ways of saying goodbye or all that sort of stuff, and it all depends on like who the person is, where you're at, like everything changes. There's multiple ways, you know. So, and I was trying to say something other than sayonara, because sayonara in Japanese is usually used in schools and is said between students and teachers. But when you actually say sayonara outside of that environment and you're like an adult, it gets taken as, like when you say sayonara and everything, it'll then be taken as basically goodbye forever, like you won't ever see the person again. So I've been trying to build my vocabulary on how to properly have different farewell departures and everything that don't give off that sort of feeling, you know. So I had sent through and everything to my sensei. I was like, anything but sayonara. So like, matane, bye bye, itekimasu, itaraishai, itaraishai, jane, jana, ja, matana, mataraishu, ne. And I don't even think most of my emails actually here. I need to get that fixed. Yes, and I was like, there's multiple ways of saying goodbye. Like, there's many different ways to say goodbye for multiple occasions, situations, and environments. And my sensei helped point out that not to use like matane, bye bye, itekimasu, itaraishai, jane, jana, matane, or like raishune. So I can use like ja and mata, and she also mentioned here there are a lot of ways to say goodbye. Okay, that's my segment, and then she mentioned here in brackets that sayonara, jamata would be an appropriate expression for like the type of environment and relationship I technically have with my sensei and classmates, colleagues, friends. It would be still efficient. So she's given me a lot of help and everything, and I will do my best to fully absorb this information, because being able to ask this stuff is extremely important. And not just because we are beginners. Like, these are very prominent questions to ask in pretty much like day-to-day life. So getting like just these, like just getting this sort of interaction down packed and properly memorized is quite crucial. You know, you want to be able to introduce yourself confidently and correctly to a new acquaintance whom you may wish to have as a friend, best friend, romantic, or just to introduce yourself properly to your superiors and everything. Like it's very important. And so and as there is exchange roles, so I'll be playing a character, asking the questions to my friend who is playing a different character. So I'll ask the question, they'll respond, and then we'll exchange the roles and everything to where I'll still be playing the same person, but then they will ask me the questions and I gotta respond with the correct information. So if I was just going off by like my own personal info for a couple of these questions here, so for like name, for example, the way I would probably introduce myself is Hajime mashite, watashi wa Zachary desu. Dozo yoroshiku onegai shimasu. You know, nice, short, simple. My occupation, I am unemployed. They do have their own word for that. But I am actually also a student. So my occupation would be student, which I believe is gakuse in Japanese. So I would probably say watashi wa gakuse, like I am a student. I'll leave where I live. For my phone number, everyone knows my phone number. I'm very easy to get in contact with, but in Japanese and everything, you know how like you will generally say like the first 4 numbers, then you'll like leave a space, say the next 3, leave a space, and then the final 3. Although I have actually met a couple of people that will say the first 3 numbers, leave a space, say the next 3 numbers, leave a space, and then say the last 4 numbers, which is strange. But I do know people that do that. So for me to saying like my mobile in Japanese would be 0421 no. They use no as like a space to like give the person time to process what you have just said and write it down. So you say no as like basically the space word. Give them time and then you proceed and give the next couple of numbers. So 0421 no 239 no 335. That would be my mobile in Japanese. As in for my age, I believe my age, because I'm currently 24, which is thus pronounced 24. And I can't remember if I put des or anything. I don't think I do. I'm pretty sure there's a particular particle or something that comes after that, but I can't remember at the moment. But for my age, I would be 24, which is 24. And as for my nationality, I think the correct way I would say this would be watashi wa Australia jin desu, for I am Australian. And yeah, so a lot of fun. We'll be beginning. It's 4:25. We're basically beginning. shit. Okay, so I'm gonna get this video uploaded. I hope you enjoy. I would love to do more, oh, my bad. I would love to actually showcase more videos on my channel of me progressing in Japanese, and I'm gonna stick with it and become fluent in Japanese and with the other languages I'm studying as well, more as a self-study, to where I'm actually doing Japanese as a course. And this course I'm doing, I don't get a certificate. I'm not doing the certificate one. I will be doing the certificate ones next year. But for this certificate 2 in applied Japanese, it actually classes as a qualification. So if I become fluent enough and well versed in the language, this could help me even be a Perth tour guide for tourists, which would be quite a fun job, like, you know, because I'd be getting to associate and sort of like brighten, like, what is it, like, I'd be able to give like Japanese tourists the information about the city and country to where I reside. And I would love to go to Japan and everything if I can get on a plane. First I got to get my passport and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so I will do my best. I will surely let you know in my next video whether it's a game stream or if I do another personal video like this, whether or not if I've managed to wing it and pass, or if I've totally got clipped wings and fallen flat on my face. But either way, I will stick with this regardless of the results to today's exam assessment. There's a lot of work that I'm behind in, and I really do need to get it done. I wish I could concentrate and focus like I used to. But either way, I'm doing my best. I'm having a lot of fun learning the language. I have wonderful and understanding classmates and senseis, so I am very, very lucky. I and a couple of others, like my sensei, I don't know if any of the other students have been informed, but unfortunately, as of the beginning of next year, there has not been a high enough student class intake for learning Japanese, so they have dropped Certificate 3 in Applied Japanese, which was what I was actually meant to be doing next year. Like, I do have to repeat, or technically continue, Cert 2 in Applied Japanese first, because it is a 1-year course and I've joined halfway through the year. Even though I didn't get to join until like week 4, week 5, so I pretty much missed like the first 25 weeks. But I've dove in head first, doing my best to gather information, and yeah, I will get it. And it's been an absolute blast. So I am very stressed now that they have actually cancelled the Certificate 3 qualification, because I do have a lot going on in my own life, and things aren't as simple or easy for me. And so having this course actually shut down has also placed a lot more stress onto me, because this was my plan, you know, and now that's fallen through. And like, how am I it's 4:30. And it's like, for everything I've got planned career-wise, and like I said, this is going to help me with my own personal knowledge and and skills, but it'll be able to benefit me immensely in like my music, so I can transpose my music into into Japanese and perform in Japanese, as well as play characters that are bilingual, or even play like a Japanese character if I'm ever so fortunate. I know I don't look Japanese, but you never know how things can go. So, other than that stress, I just got to figure it out. But I will be doing the next half of this course next year, as well as level 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is actually certificate based in Japanese, as long as they don't get cancelled either. So, by the end of next year, I should have 4 certificates in Japanese, as well as a qualification in Japanese. And yeah, I will do my best and see what else life dishes my way. But yeah, at the moment, this is what I gotta focus on in the present. And yeah, I gotta get to class, so I gotta end it here. Thank you for bearing with me. I hope you found this enjoyable, and I would like to do more videos like this, expressing my progress with learning this new language and everything. So, and just note, I am learning. There will be times where I will make mistakes, and you know, it's just part of the process. But either way, that's what I wanted to share with everyone. I had a lot of fun doing this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves, stay hydrated, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.